1890s Zanzibar, the hub of the East African slave trade, seeing about 50,000 slaves a year pass through. This, however, was about 60 years after the Western abolishment of slavery, meaning Britain was on a moral crusade to chase slavery out of the world. This crusade also happened to coincide with the race to colonize Africa, with Europe's superpowers seeing the untapped natural resources in Africa and the Africans' convenient inability to pose much threat of retaliation in body or voice. As part of this divvying up of land in 1890, Britain and Germany signed the Heligoland-Zanzibar Treaty, which stated that Britain would concede Heligoland to Germany and recognize Germany's control over what would today be Tanzania. In return, Germany agreed to acknowledge Britain's control over what would today be Kenya, and by extension, Zanzibar too. Britain immediately got to work, forcing their protection on Zanzibar and decreeing that they will have final say over who gets to be in charge in order to ensure compliance. 25th of August, 1896, Sultan Hamad bin Fuani dies suddenly from suspected poisoning from his nephew Khalid bin Baghash, who had quickly come to claim his uncle's spot, the same spot Khalid had missed out on just 3 years prior. Khalid immediately gets to work, rallying 3,000 supporters to his cause, only 1,000 of which had any form of training, and arming them with rifles and a Gatling gun, which had been a gift from Queen Victoria. 26th of August, the chief British diplomat on Zanzibar, Basil Cave, sent orders for Khalid to stand down, reminding him that his grand palace, as beautiful as it was no fort and should not be treated as such. All orders sent by Cave were ignored. Cave sent word to England, asking for permission to respond to Khalid's actions. Later that same day, HMS Philomel and HMS Thrush sailed into the harbour and set their guns to face the palace just on the other side of the harbour. Joined that evening by HMS Sparrow, Cave receives word from England, and they tell him to use any force deemed necessary to retake control, with specific orders not to fail. Cave sends word to Khalid that he is to surrender by 9 a.m. the next day, or he will open fire. In response to this, Khalid declares himself Sultan. The next morning at 8 a.m., just as the HMS Raccoon and St. George pull into the harbour, Khalid responds to Cave saying he will not surrender and that he doesn't believe the British will open fire on him. A brave yet stupid response. 9:02 a.m. August 27th, all 5 ships opened fire, causing a hellstorm, pulverizing what little artillery the enemy had and causing huge fires in Khalid's grand palace. Khalid, seeing that the war was lost, ran out the back of the palace, leaving his devout followers to continue the fight against these 5 warships. Once his followers realized that their sultan had left them, they quickly surrendered. And just like that, at 9:40, after just 38 minutes of fighting, the Anglo-Zanzibar War was over.